What's up, guys? I got the keys here, back with another video. So there's something I want to talk about today, and that's the fact that we should not be um, staying away from our shadow side or any parts of ourself, really. So there's this big thing in the spiritual community where people will just tell you that, oh, you just stay in a high vibration, and you just have to be thinking good thoughts all the time and blah blah blah. And guess what? It's literally impossible. um so I don't want you guys to get lost in this, because I know I did for a while. um and it is physically impossible to make yourself have good thoughts all the time. um and it's also very unhumane to deny your negative emotions. So if you want to be angry, then you're allowed to be angry. um there's a reason behind your anger, and the point is to look at it and really understand it and love it, and understand that you're angry because you love something so much, or you're angry because of whatever was going on, right? And that's okay. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be um you're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to be lazy once in a while, right? But there's also the flip side where we have to use our good emotions too. And so as alchemists, we are able to transmute everything. And so we turn anger into drive, we turn lust into love, we turn um sadness into happiness, right? um so you're not always going to be on one side of the spectrum, right? You go through a range of emotions, you go through a range of feelings, you go through a range of thoughts. um it's just like anything else. There's ups and downs in life, right? You don't just stay up all the time. um not that you can't always have a good life, right? But there's still going to be stuff that comes in to piss you off, or triggers old wounds or whatever, right? um so we have to not deny those parts of ourselves that are um even wanting to be seen, um because a lot of people will tell you to ignore you know being sad or being depressed or whatever. But no, there's a reason that it's there, and it's asking you to look at it and love it. And ultimately, I'm actually going to tell you guys this story that I've kind of had an awakening to recently. So when I was with my ex a few years ago, we were going through stuff, right? And not to put too much business out or anything, but um, basically, I had a point where there's stuff going on that I wasn't happy with, right? And I felt like I tried to voice those opinions, but they weren't getting through to her, right? And she might have felt the same way towards me. I don't know, but that's not the point here. It's that basically the one night I ended up having sleep paralysis, and this shadow figure came in the room, and it choked me, right? And now I see this as a part of myself that wanted to be seen, and it said, hey, we're not able to speak, we're not able to be our true selves, we're not able to voice our true feelings here. And that was basically what the message was for me. It was like, is that I'm not speaking my truth, right? So this was a manifestation of that so-called demon that you would say, right? um Basically something that was blocking me, but it was my own creation, right? Because I stayed in something that I wasn't happy. And um so this was basically a big awakening for me. Even though I didn't understand it at the time that it happened, I was just like, what the fuck, right? Because in those moments, if you ever had sleep paralysis, that shit is crazy weird. um and and I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing. I just had to watch what was going on. Um, because it's basically where your mind's awake, your brain's awake, right? But your body is not awake, right? So it's you're aware, but you can't do anything. You can't move the body, um, and it's a very weird state. Let's just put it that way. Um, but yeah, ultimately, it showed me where I was ignoring myself. Right? It showed me where I needed to open up my voice. I needed to say something, and eventually, God pushed me out of that relationship because God knew it wasn't working for me. Um, I tried to stay, trust me, and every day would show me more why I shouldn't, right? So we need to learn to not deny these parts of ourselves, and when something does come up, it's okay to acknowledge it. It's okay to sit with it, and it's okay to get help too. um just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you can't go to therapy. It doesn't mean you can't get help, right? um because I think that's another problem in this whole community, right? It's like, sure, you can heal as much as you want by yourself, but sometimes you need a little help, and that's okay. Um, so, anyways, this is just the point of to not deny your darkness. Jesus was an embodiment of this. He understood that by not rejecting any parts of himself, he is whole, right? Um, and it's not even that they're evil or bad. It's just understanding them from a different point of view, right? Um, perspective is everything, right? So if we can see the light even in those darkest parts of ourself, um, then we can realize that we've been whole this whole time, right? There's nothing. There's no real. Um, we get stuck in that thing of healing all the time. It's like, oh, I have to heal this and I have to heal that. Like, and I'm not denying healing at all. Like, I understand that there's things we obviously need to heal about ourselves, but we get stuck in that identity of healing, right? And it's like, you are already whole as you are. And, there's nothing to complete you but you. Um, and this is why, like, chasing material stuff and is wrong, because it's not that you can't have it. It's not that you shouldn't, you can't want it. Um, but it's that you don't need it, right? You don't need it. You understand that the only thing you ever will need is you. Um, because without you, nothing exists. And I think that's the most important realization, is not needing anything brings everything to you, right? And I know that's hard to detach yourself from, stuff sometimes. I get it. Um, we all fall into that. And, um, ultimately accepting all these parts of yourself is going to make everything easier. Because now you're loving every part of you, whether it's dark, whether it's light, whatever. Because this is something we have to admit, is that there really is no evil spirits, so to say, right? It's just that there's darkness and light and all. And sometimes one chooses really far down the dark path, and one chooses way too far into the light. And then there's us that choose right to stay in the middle and balance. So, the point is to stay heart centered and to use your mind wisely. And, when we can have coherence between the heart and the mind, that is what creates a beautiful life for us. So we see the beauty in the bad things. We see, um, we see the opposite in the good things too. Because sometimes a good thing can bring a bad thing, and at least in perception, right? Um, but yes, if you are dealing with this area in life and you need just a little bit of assistance, I'm doing one-on-one consultations. So just send me email of your name and a short description of what you're going through, even if you just need somebody to talk to. I'm willing to listen and give you my advice. And, you know, I'm able to give you advice on where you can go next, or, you know, maybe what your next step could be. And if you're interested in that, again, it will be in the description. So all you got to do is send me your name and a short description of what's going on. But, you know, I will see you guys in the next video. So if you can just like, comment, share, and subscribe, I would be more than grateful. And just so we can get this out to more people that may need it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.